Life Over Coffee. Conversations for Transformation.
Hello everyone, Rick Thomas here. Thank you so much for joining me for a little Life Over Coffee. You can find me always in my coffee shop. That's where I hang out. The street address is lifeovercoffee.com. Check it out. If you have access to the internet, then you have free access to our coffee shop, and you'll be surprised at the resources that you find there. I am currently working through my book, Living Boldly. It is a 31-day devotional for young people, but for those who have been following along, you know it's a 31-day devotional for old people as well, because these are things that apply to all of us. The Bible crosses all demographics, it crosses all cultures, it crosses all age groups, and what applies to one can most practically apply to others as well. And so if you're past the days of your youth, listen in, get my book, Living Boldly. You may be surprised at how beneficial it would be to you. And of course, you know, as we typically say, that if you share our content, make sure you always share our content with at least 1,000 of your closest friends. So let's jump into day 12. I titled it, Coolness is Not the Path to Success. And so I want to tackle a common cultural myth, the idea that being cool is the way to succeed. It's not. The truth is, chasing coolness is rarely fruitful. Instead, what it often leads to is dysfunctional relationships. It's a self-focused, enslaving way of life that demands that others notice you, admire you, want to be you. Perhaps it would serve all of us if we redefine what it means to be cool from a biblical perspective. Before I get into that, let me share with you Isaiah 53:3, talking about Jesus. It says he was despised and rejected by men, a man of sorrows and acquainted with grief, and as one from whom men hid, or men hide their faces. He was despised and we esteemed him not. Now, the world's definition of coolness revolves around self-promotion and comparison as they compare themselves with one another. You measure yourself against others, striving to meet shifting standards of popularity, of style, of status. The insecure soul that craves the approval of others will scan the cultural landscape for the most popular fads and acclimate like a chameleon and adorn themselves accordingly, only to pivot when the cultural winds blow and change happens again. Biblical coolness looks nothing like the culture's zeitgeist. Go back to Isaiah 53. I would encourage you to read the first 7 verses, where Christ is described as unesteemed, unlovely, unappealing, unacceptable. These words are the opposite of cool, yet they perfectly describe Jesus. He wasn't focused on fitting in. He wasn't focused on impressing others, but he drew passionate followers. He had the ability to draw a crowd. People wanted to follow him. People wanted to hear him. People wanted to be him. Now, why is that? When you go back to those words, unesteemed, unlovely, unappealing, unacceptable. Because true greatness isn't about conforming. It's about living in alignment with God and living in alignment with God's purposes. Imagine Jesus as a young adult. He likely was not overly concerned with impressing others. His focus was on his mission and honoring his Father. His toga might not have been the trendiest, and his priorities didn't match the culture's. He stood out because of eternal values, not fleeting popularity. Those things did not drive his life. Ironically, something was appealing about Jesus. He was not a rebel without a cause, and he did not rebel just to be different. He was dialed in on his Father's purpose, which put him out of alignment with the world, making himself God's choice as our leader. The life of Christ underscores a powerful truth. Success in God's kingdom isn't about strength, isn't about popularity, isn't about cultural approval. It's about humility, about obedience, it's about faithfulness. Being godly and cool often pull in opposite directions if your primary concern is cultural assumptions. To pursue godliness, you'll likely have to let go of worldly definitions of success. Jesus said, "I am the way, I am the truth, I am the life," reminding us that His path is right even when it feels countercultural. So perhaps we need to redefine what we think about being cool is. I'm not saying that you shouldn't be cool. I'm saying you should be cool if coolness looks like Jesus. This is day 12 of my devotional, Living Boldly. The title of day 12, Coolness is Not the Path to Success.
Thanks for joining us. Learn more and get access to other resources at lifeovercoffee.com.